Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and have I got, just a slew of news that I want to share with you today. Everything from a really peculiar statement by Miss Angelina Jolie to a statement by the New York Times to a second assassination attempt on Roger Stone. I just got to ask the question, after all of this, you're going to be left with, what the hell kind of world are we living in? Things are just getting crazy on a daily basis. But let's just go straight to those reports. All right, so for starters, let's start with the assassination attempt on Roger Stone. And this is put out by wearechange.org. But anyhow, the first assassination attempt on Mr. Roger Stone was where he was poisoned with polonium. And now he was in his car and it was T-boned by another vehicle while he was in the passenger seat. And ergo, many believe this might be another assassination attempt on his life. Look, they killed Michael Hastings, they killed Breitbart, and others, mind you, but this just goes along the line of what the globalists are willing to do to knock someone out of their way. But here's kind of a breakdown. He said he was the passenger in a car to Orlando when he was T-boned from the right side. He said that the vehicle that was there, it hit directly where he was sitting, and it was a four-door sedan gray matted Ford with a deeply tinted windshield, which made it impossible to see anyone and who was inside. The vehicle allegedly backed up and went peeling away, according to Roger Stone. But he suffered minor injuries, including a blurred vision to his eyes there. But here's the thing. Anytime, there are hit and runs, obviously, but in this particular case, to have, a very tinted windows where you can't even see inside, to hit someone and then peel away, I don't know about you, but that sounds like a straight up assassination attempt to me. And this is not his first go around. We know earlier I reported, maybe a month ago, that he was poisoned as well. And thankfully he survived that. Evidently, they don't want information getting out. I know he's got a book and he's obviously, very linked to Donald Trump there. So they're trying to silence him. Well, speaking of globalist, let's talk of one in particular, Miss Angelina Jolie. And this is on Infowars.com. But globalist Angelina Jolie warns against nationalism masquerading as patriotism in a United Nations speech. Now, I'm going to scroll down to what she said. She said, we are seeing a rising tide of nationalism masquerading as patriotism. What an idiot. Anyway, and the reemergence of policies encouraging fear and hatred of others, she added. Now, here's the thing. Let's look up the very definition of nationalism. Nationalism, patriotic feeling, principles, or effort. Nationalism, patriotism, nationalism, patriotism. Kind of there, sweetheart. An extreme form of this, especially marked by a feeling of superiority over other countries. So if you love America and you want to put America first, basically that's nationalism. But what about patriotism? Let's look that up. The quality of being patriotic, vigorous support for your own country. Hello, Angelina Jolie. Anyway, what kind of world are we living in? I guess a little bit of a crazy one. But here's something that makes it even crazier. The New York Times here, and I'm going to link the New York Times article as well. But this particular one's on Infowars.com. New York Times editorial gives order to white parents. Stop raising racist kids. Okay, I have a few words for you, New York Times. Go to hell. We're not raising racist kids. We're raising normal kids. Everyone is equal here. And for heaven's sake, one of my children is not even white. So get over yourself, New York Times, and stop putting white people as a target. And I'm getting sick and tired of this race baiting. They're constantly saying white people are bad and white people need to subjugate themselves. They're too privileged. No, it has nothing to do with that. I know what it's like to be poor. I was poorer than poor when I was young, and I've explained that before, but to say things like we have privilege and our kids are racist, they can go somewhere where the sun don't shine, in my words. But it gets into a little more detail on how they talk about George Washington and how George Washington owned slave owners, and no, he was a product of his time, just like everybody else in history. But he did a lot of good things for our country, and for that I am thankful. Finally, one last thing that I wanted to share with you, and this is on rtnews.com. FBI is not obligated to share rules for spying on journalists. That is what a judge ruled. Now, the judge who ruled on this needs to be taken out of office. He should not even be allowed as a judge because, quite frankly, he is not following the rights of the American people. He's more of giving more power to himself, more power to the government, if you will, to do whatever the hell they want, whenever they want. And that's what's starting to tick me off. We're seeing censorship by Facebook, by Google, and we're seeing some of these judges stand up and say, you're allowed to do whatever you want, whenever you want. Well, in this particular case, the Freedom of Press Foundation actually sued the Department of Justice back in 2015 after it was reported that they had seized 2 months worth of phone calls by 7 different journalists. Now, mind you, there's probably a lot more. These are the only ones that were busted. And now, fast forward, the DOJ investigation of James Rosen, the chief Washington correspondent for Fox News, as possible co-conspirator in the leak of classified material. Anyhow, it gets into a little more information. I'll just let you read over that. But needless to say, they don't have grounds to just take information from journalists. All right, so there you have it. What kind of chaotic world are we living in where white people raise racist kids, at least according to the New York Times, where somebody who is friends of the president, has helped with the president's campaign, has not one assassination attempt, but 2, and the mainstream media doesn't say anything about it yet again because they're lying and they're crooked. Not one peep from any of them. Not only that, but where the FBI is allowed to do whatever the heck they want to journalists, and the judge says, okay, let's forget about our constitutional rights and do whatever we want. And then Miss Angelina Jolie, used to like her stuff, but she's gone way off the deep end. But needless to say, she wants to say nationalism and patriotism basically aren't one in the same, and that nationalism, and let me just quote her right, but nationalism masquerades as patriotism. No, honey. See, anyone who loves their country and doesn't want globalism doesn't mean that, well, that they aren't patriotic. You know, nationalism, patriotism all mean loving basically the country that you live in. So what, Angelina, are we not supposed to love the country that we live in? I don't know. Anyhow, wanted to bring you the latest on all of that. Please share your comments, your concerns. I'd love to hear them all. And if you like what you heard, hit that subscribe button and give me a big fat thumbs up. And don't forget to check out my partner here at www.getthetea.com. He's got some of the most amazing organic products for all your supplement needs and all of that. Well, thanks again for tuning in. This is Lisa Haven signing out.